Yes, so now it's kind of how you were doing the last one on accident. Find G of 7. Okay, guys, so G of 7, do you see the 7 in the parentheses? That means replace it with the variable. So it'd be 3 times 7 plus 8. So in this case, you do plug in the 7. Okay. All right, the easiest way to do this is graph it. Find the x-intercepts. There are other ways. I'm just telling you the easier way. Graph it and see where the x-intercepts are. When you find the x-intercepts, we usually set y equal to 0, but that's harder in this case. So that should have been where it's crossing your x-axis, yeah. Okay, D of W is equal to negative W plus 10. Find D of 15. This is just like that. It's inside the parentheses. So you're putting it in for the variable. Guys, you should have been able to do it in your head. If I put in 15 here, there's already a negative. Negative 15 plus 10. Okay, in this case, be careful. F of x is equal to 36. Is that my x or my y value? My y value. When you take the square root of both sides, it's a plus or minus. You should have 2 answers, not 1. Well, now it's not green. Should have two answers. Okay, so it should have been 36. Whoever is talking over there, 36 equals 4x squared. Divide both sides by 4, right? Which then you get 9 equals x squared. Take the square root of both sides, but it's always plus minus. So that's why it's a 3 positive and a 3 negative. You plug this in for the y value, not the x value. You're on fire. Okay, write the following point in function notation. The point is -2, 3. Where does the x go? Where does the y go? The point is -2, 3. That's why you don't listen to other people. Okay. So the x value goes inside the parenthesis. It's the input. So think of input x inside the parenthesis. The y value is on the outside. Okay. Input, output. Matt, you're on fire.
I'm on fire.
That's what it says. All right, let's try again. Write it as function notation. The point is -3, 1. Okay, so the input goes inside. That's the x value. The output's on the outside. Okay, find f of 5. When the input's 5, what's the output? Okay, when the input is 5, so when x is 5, what is y? In this case, it was 0.
Oh, yeah.
Because x was 5, yeah. Ethan, you're on fire now. All right, f of 1. When the input is 1, I was trying to get closer, but sorry. You could have waited 5 seconds. Okay, when the x value is 1, the y value was 3.
Yeah.
I was trying to zoom in for you.
Yeah, I wanted the answer.
That's not her fault.
All right, f of x equals 3? The output equals 3. I don't know. I don't know. F of x equals 3. The output is 3.
Dude, I was going
Okay. In this case, we are looking at the y value. The y value is 3. So if I go across, here's one of them, and then there happens to be another one right here. Yeah. So when y is 3, x was 1 or 4. Or I guess it was 3. Sorry, I miscounted. Ooh, new leader. Okay, f of x equals 2. The output is 2. I'd zoom in, but you think we get mad at me. The output is 2. What's the input?
north now? I'm not.
Okay, so if y was 2, x also happened to be 2 in this case. Or negative 2. Because the y, we're looking at the y value. See how it's on the outside? That's the y value. So if we're given the y value, we need to find the x.
I'm going back on top.
Okay, if f of x is negative 2, if the output is negative 2, no. Better, good. Okay, so it had said that the y is negative 2. So if I go on over, I'll see the x is negative 4. Okay, f of negative 3. The input is negative 3. Is Ethan gonna get mad at me? The input is negative 3. Doing better, good as, okay, so the input, in this case, x was negative 3. So y is 1. It was inside, so it was the input. All right, g of x is equal to 5x minus 3. Find g of 4. The input is 4. If it's inside the parentheses, it's the input. No, Gatsby, this is an easy one. Okay, the input is 4, you guys. So I'm putting 4 in for x. 5 times 4 is 20 minus 3. Okay. All right, f of x is minus 3. Find x if g of x is equal to 12. The output is 12. That's why I wanted to do it, because this is the hardest part I have seen. I see a lot. So. The output is 12. Okay, so the output is 12. That means that's my y value. So the 12 replaces the whole thing over here. So it's 12 equals 5x minus 3. Add 3 to both sides. You get 15 equals 5x. Divide both sides by 5. You get a positive 3. F of 0. The input is 0. F of 0. When x is 0, where's y? Why is it a different color? That's weird. Yeah. Okay. You're on fire. All right, f of 2. When the input is 2. When the input is 2. Okay. X is 2. 1, 2. So y is negative 1. Was this number 17? Okay, the next question, the answer is 2. It only gives you 5 seconds for some reason. So just put the answers 2. Because it gives you like 5 seconds. So it's bad. If you get this one wrong, you're in trouble. I just gave you the answer. I just said the next answer was 2 because it only gives you 5 seconds. Listening skills. It was a trick question. Is it the Ethans? Oh my goodness, both Ethans are up there too. And Matt. Matt, you're with the Ethans. All right, good job. Okay, so go on to, we're going to go to the packet. So if we go under Unit 3, right here, Unit 3 packet, and I'm going to page 10 of the packet. So this is page 10. Okay, so we're on day 2 notes. And we're going to be talking about linear relation. Okay. So we're talking about lines, right? And my favorite way to write a line is slope-intercept form. Who remembers slope-intercept form? From Algebra 1. What's slope-intercept form? You guys remember? How do I write a line? Y equals mx plus b. It was like thrown at you a lot, right? Okay. The one that's not as common is standard form. That's what we're going to talk about first today. So standard form is when you have your x's and your y's on the same side, but then there's a catch, okay? A, which is the number in front of x, has to be greater than or equal to 1. So it cannot be a fraction, and it cannot be a negative. So if it comes out that way, you've got to tweak it a little. That's where it gets tricky, okay? So sometimes in order to do that, you need to either divide by a negative so that it's not negative. There's also something called the GCF. What is GCF?
Factors F.
Greatest common factor, okay? So it's the greatest thing you can take out of all of A, B, and C, okay? So what does it look like? This is what standard form looks like. AX plus BY equals C. A, B, and C are numbers, okay? We don't want A to be negative. And if I can take out a greatest common factor from A, B, and C, I'm going to do so, kind of like reducing, okay? All right, so let's look at number 1. Number 1 already has the x and the y on the same side. The problem is A is negative. Remember we said A can't be negative. So to get rid of a negative, I can just divide by -1. But I have to do it to everything to keep it balanced. So I'm going to divide all 3 terms by -1. That will now give me 5x minus 6y equals 12. That is standard form for number 1. Does 5, 6, and 12 have anything in common, all 3 of them? No. So I cannot take out a greatest common factor. Okay. Because A can't be 1. So if you, or I'm sorry, A can't be negative. So A, B, and C are integers, and A, right here, cannot be a negative. It's got to be greater than or equal to 1. Okay? So yeah, right here I'm going to divide everything by -1. That way I get 5x minus 6y equals 12. All right, number 2, I want the x's and the y's on the same side. What is it in right now? What's the name of this form?
Standard.
No, right now what is it in? Slope-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. This is my favorite form because 2 is the slope and -9 is my y-intercept, right? But it wants us to put it in standard form. So standard form means the x and the y need to be on the same side and the constant needs to be on the right side. So I got to move the 2x over. So I'm going to do minus 2x to both sides. But then I fall into the problem of A is a negative again. So I also have to divide everything by a -1. So my final answer is 2x minus y equals 9. So first I moved over x so that x and y were on the same side. And then a, the number in front of x, cannot be a negative. So I divided everything by -1 to change it. Which part? The first part, I just subtracted 2x from both sides. The y stayed over there. So I wanted my x and my y on the left side.
Yeah, you want them on the same side, right?
For standard form, the x and the y are on the left. The constant is on the right.
How did we stay with 2x if we minus it?
Then we divided everything by -1 at the end. Because you didn't want 2 to be, you didn't want -2, you wanted +2. All right, what do you think I do with number 3? Are my x's and my y's on the same side? Okay, but what about my c value? Not only that, but the c value is with everything. Do I want it there or do I want it on the right? On the right. Boys, where should my c value be? On the right. How do I move it across the equal sign? Addition. So add 24. I'm gonna add 24. Is there a greatest common factor that can go into 9, 6, and 24? Yes. So I'm going to divide. So first I'm going to add 24 because we want the c value on the right. Then I'm looking to see, is there something common? Yes. I'm going to divide everything by 3. Greatest common factor. So my final answer is 3x plus 2y equals 8. All right, I want you to try number 4. I want the x's and the y's on the same side. And if there's a greatest common factor, pull it out. Okay, so are the x and the y's on the same side? No. What do I need to do? Add 7x to the other side. Okay, so then I get 7x plus 7y equals 7. Is there a number that goes into 7, 7, and 7? 7, yeah. So I'll end up with x plus y equals 1. Okay. X plus y equals 1. All right, 5 is a little trickier. Remember we said that a cannot be a fraction? Do you remember how we said a cannot be a fraction? A has to be greater than or equal to 1. Okay? So in this case, a is 3/4. Okay? Now, if it was all by itself, how do we normally get rid of a denominator? We multiply it by it, right? The problem is y has a fraction also. So the easiest way to do this is you take the denominator of both and multiply them together and you get what? 12. If I multiply everything by 12, like I distribute, right? If I do everything by 12, it's going to reduce those for me. So 3/4 times 12 is 9. Okay? And you could do that the long way or the calculator way, right? The long way would be 3 times 12 divided by 4. That's how I got 9. Okay. Then we have a negative 1/3 times 12. Negative 1 times 12, negative 12, divided by 3, negative 4. And then the last one is just 1 times 12, and so we get 12. Does anything go into 9, 4, and 12? No. Right? So that's my final answer. In my opinion, 6 is a little easier because what's my only fraction? The one with the x, right? How do I get rid of a fraction? Multiply by the denominator. So I'm going to multiply everything by 6 in this case. 1/6 x times 6 is 1. 6 times y is 6y. Negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Okay? 6 times 1/6 is 1. So we just get x. Y times 6 is 6y. Negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Okay, now we need x's and y's on the left. So I'm going to subtract 6y from both sides. And so I'm left with x minus 6y equals negative 12. Yes or no? We're 2:55 today? Okay, that's a good place to stop then. If you want to start, the homework is posted, but you will only be able to get through some of it, okay? All right.
No, that's not what we do. Yeah, people